Episode
Episode
4.
4.
Here we are.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives with Afternoon Tea with Shandy. Episode 4 starts to get exciting. I mean, it's all been exciting so far. I'll admit that. But I think I'm most excited about Layla's upcoming orgasm.
Well, her hopeful upcoming orgasm. She has not. Okay, this was something I thought about. So she keeps saying I've never had an orgasm, which then I am assuming, like when I hear that, I hear even with herself.
Right. I think that's what she means because earlier in the last season she talked about she has gotten close and then kind of put on the brakes, and they were doing it when they were talking about sex toys. So I think it's possible. I think what she's saying is she's never reached climax at all.
How does the Mormon church view masturbation? Is it something talked about?
So that's a great question. It is not talked about at
Mhm.
all.
I mean, I think that makes it's just what I know so far. But if someone found out that that was happening with your teenager, I don't know, how is that approached?
So this is a very gray area. Viewers will probably weigh in. So here's my understanding, and it's not like I'm a Mormon historian or anything, but there has been in the past a president of the church or leaders of the church who have explicitly said don't masturbate. That quietly stopped being said, and nobody addressed it and said it's okay to do. And so a lot of people have said when the church makes certain changes that they'll do like a quiet moving away from, and then there's others where they'll like change via revelation. So people think that they have made a quiet moving away from it because a lot of research, science, psychologists, sexologists, I don't even know if that's a true profession, people have come to know that abstinence from masturbation is not realistic. It creates so much shame because you are so destined to fail. Like the percentage of men who masturbate is in the high 90s. And for women, it's quite high too. But like you are likely to fail if you try not to masturbate. And I think that they started to realize that, but they also didn't want to at all ever be like, you can do it. So they just stopped talking about it. But
Mhm.
one of the things psychologically that happens is not talking about something creates a sense of shame and
Yeah.
mystery and whatever. And when I say not talking about something, there's many things. So like another example where this shows up is if people were adopted, but their parents, even if they know they were adopted, right? Like if they learned that and they know that that happened, um, if their parents never talk about it, they start to feel like they shouldn't talk about it and that it's shameful. So I'm not just talking about like sexual things. I'm like when things are explicitly not talked about, it creates mystery and shame anyway. So I'll put that out there. Mormons are saying nothing about it as far as I'm concerned. Individual bishops, when they're interviewing you to know if you're worthy to go into the temple, I've heard many stories about some bishops will ask if you're masturbating and some will not. I had a bishop, my best friend's father. Do you have any troubles touching yourself? He asked me in a one on one meeting. And I said, no. My parents, when I told them that that happened, I went home and was like, Bishop asked me if I had any trouble touching myself. They laughed and joked. Did you tell them no? It's no trouble at all. So I think the messages are wildly different, and I think that people have different experiences in different congregations, which is not always the case in the LDS Church. So I'd be very curious to hear what our viewers have to say if they have any experience with masturbation in the Mormon Church.
Fun fact. So John Harvey Kellogg,
Ah,
I always stuck with me. Do you remember created the cereal to
I know
help
this. Yes.
patient? That if if I remembered nothing from that social psych class, that is what I walked away with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That
which
morning breakfast cereal was designed to curb the desire to masturbate. They thought they were onto something.
yes, so interesting. So anyone who helps himself to a bowl of Kellogg's cereal, just know.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's That's what that's for. But with Layla, it's not clear to me. It actually feels pretty clear to me that she is not stopping herself from having an orgasm. It sounds like she's kind of stopping herself, right? And I'm not to put it on her, right? But that something's happening where maybe she's not allowing herself to climax,
Yeah,
even if she's feeling it.
like a mental block.
Yeah. And so it doesn't seem like it's coming from like shame of like I shouldn't, but sometimes that's mixed in there.
Mhm.
She's having sex with her boyfriend as she discloses, so it isn't that she doesn't think you should do anything sexual, right? Like, so it's other things. And it probably is, I guess I'm saying this because I don't think this is unique to LDS women to have a block around orgasm. I think there's a lot of ways that people can experience or receive messages about sex or sexuality, develop their sex and sexuality that might make them feel similarly. But I think in Layla's case, for sure, it's part of the story.
Yeah, and she talks to Cam, her boyfriend, about it, which is
Yeah,
very nice.
seems like a
It
great dude.
he seems very nice. And is his dad a bishop? Is that?
Yeah,
And I was thinking about that as he's having these conversations, which would be hard to have on TV for, I think, most people, uh, but especially for someone of the LDS church and who has a bishop father.
yeah, it's a lot. Because no matter how he might personally feel about this, if he has no hangups at all, or he's, figured it all out and feels good about how he's doing or living, it's the reputation, right? Like the way you represent the family in certain cases, what other people might think. There's just so many opportunities when it's culturally infused like that for just the social rejection, social pressure, your own guilt around whatever you might think or believe. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating. I feel for him. It's funny because I do have this part of me that like has maybe anybody's reaction to somebody who's really living inauthentically, right? Like they're having sex, but he's like, but I don't want to do any drugs because that's against the word of wisdom. And as I mentioned last season, according to Mormon doctrine, sex is next to murder when it
Murder.
comes to things being bad. So somehow he's like, I'm okay with that, but no to gummies. But whatever. Yeah, no need to walk to. It's not like it's healthy to drink or,
Right.
use THC. So it's still a good choice for him. But I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I also thought that was interesting. I also want to say Cam has beautiful blue eyes. That the
Oh,
camera got close and I was like, that he has quite lovely, unique blue eyes, bright blue eyes. But I mean, I don't even really want my parents to listen to this just because we are talking about sex, not even
sure.
my life.
Yes.
But
Yes, I won't
I,
be I won't be sending my parents the link to this podcast. Isn't that funny?
I know, yeah. No, same, same. I tell my parents, "Oh yeah, I'm recording a podcast. We haven't put any episodes out yet though because I don't want them hearing me talk about sex. But it's the show. We're talking about the show and
True.
sex a very frequent topic.
It's true. And so his parents are surely going to see the show, and this is going to be a huge thing. I honestly, I think he's being real cool about it, but I think in the back of his head, he's like freaking out, probably. Even if he's decided I'm going to go on the show and be open for whatever why, it's not like he's going to be famous. He's dating somebody. He could be broken up within a week. Like, this is a big risk for him.
I also, from a traditional, like gendered view, the idea of a likely straight male having a conversation about not being able to help his female partner achieve an orgasm. That
Yes.
feels like that might be a tough conversation, and he seems fine with it, which I applaud.
Well, what's funny to me is I was thinking about the conversation about beer and gummies and them having sex over that.
Mhm.
But both are quite vulnerable.
Yes. Hmm.
But I know it's funny because I wasn't feeling that. I love that Layla's being open. I feel like Layla in many ways is saying like me not having an orgasm is about me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she jokes, "Do you feel any pressure? about giving me an orgasm, and he's like, no, not really. And I think that's probably true, but just by virtue of the question and then the camera angle and the music, it was like doom. Like
Yes,
it's got to be in your mind somewhere about at least how cool it would be to provide the first,
sure.
if not like I'm terrible if I can't get you there. Who knows where he's at?
We will revisit this topic at the what is it? Remove the taboo party. Is that what it was called? Yeah, I think so.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it's going to come up again.
Okay. So the next scene is brunch with Macy, Michaela, and Taylor. So she checked in with Dakota after Halloween because she worries about his sobriety. And they talk about how aggressive Chase was. Taylor mentions she needs to go to therapy and she has trauma and PTSD. She brings up again, which we've talked about, her self-worth issues, her with tied to bio dad and the feeling of like she's trash. And she says, when I'm betrayed, it confirms my belief about myself, which I
Yeah,
thought really good insight that I mean, do you agree? Like, not everyone would verbalize it that way. Like, but
yeah,
they feel it, like the feeling would be there, but to tie that with the words and the thoughts. But I did think on this part, I thought what was funny was when she got done talking, she said, "So how are your marriages going?" Perfect.
I
She's cutting her food.
I wrote Taylor is funny on that part. I
Yeah.
thought because I've complained so much about how unfunny I find most of the people on the show. That was funny. That was super funny.
I think Michaela's funny. I think she says things that are funny.
Michaela's getting funny and it's the same time she's being mean, so I think I've been like reserved about wanting to laugh at it until I know her better, but I think I like Michaela and I do think she's pretty funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
even side comments like with the Chippendale last episode, I think she said something like they cut to her individual interview and she's like, it was awkward. And just I feel like her interviews are funny too. But yes,
I think it's sweet and telling that Taylor worries about Dakota's sobriety in this moment because I think she's recognizing that this is hard on him. And so then she wonders, she's sort of like, if anybody's ever gonna slip, that this might be the time. And I think that that's says a lot about what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody who's, you know, has been an addict or has had addictive, compulsive behaviors. Is it's tricky. You have to separate that from what you're thinking about them. And so she's like, I can care and worry about that, even though I'm mad and don't like you.
yeah, yeah,
But then they go pretty hard, like you should break up with him. Actually, I don't disagree. I think what they're saying is you need to decide. And I do think they think that she should break up with him. But I do think that that is probably really good advice for Taylor at this point. It's been dragging on. She can't decide. Like she can't make the decision, and it's just and that alone will just kill you.
yes. I think that limbo space that they are in and the blurred lines and even as they're debriefing about how the Halloween party, she wanted him to defend her, but they're not together, but they're sleeping together. They're are they working on their relationship? Are they not? It's very confusing. And I think that both of them are then uncertain how they should respond to the other person.
Hmm.
And sometimes I want you to respond like my partner, and other times it's, well, we're not together. And I think for both of them, it's confusing. But yes.
Yeah.
And Macy then brings up the Sinner Sunday confession. Love it. Still going strong, I suppose. But this time, it's about Demi's husband. So someone wrote, I slept with Demi's husband last year while she was away. Brett.
I thought it was funny that they immediately were like, well, that's not true because they're never apart.
I did too. I thought that was funny too. I was like, okay, that is because that's something, obviously, again, watch so many housewife shows. That's something that maybe the wife would say, well, that's not true. We're always together. But for the other friends who acknowledge they're always together, how is that possible? But then who is it, Macy, that said, except for last June?
I listen. And then Taylor says what I'm about to say, which is like, I would believe anything at this point. And so I would believe anything. And if they're always together to the point where their first reaction is like, there would be no window of physical opportunity. And then they're like, oh no, there is one. I'm like, what about the coordination of such? Like, what would that mean? Like, is it likely that this was like a highly coordinated situation so that you could get to that window? Or did he just get on Tinder the second they drove out of the driveway? And like, I don't know. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Yeah. So to be continued on that
Yeah.
front.
I would love to know what the traffic on Sinner Sunday or Confession, whatever it is, Sunday Confessions, Sabbath Confessions.
Do you follow any of them on Instagram?
No. I mean, we do on our account, which I never check.
Yeah.
I
Gosh,
should.
I forgot that we have one. I will check. I'll start checking that.
Yeah,
Uh,
start using it.
I will, because I'm on Instagram. I follow Taylor. I think I followed Demi, and that's it. I think I was following last season Whitney, and then I believe I stopped following her just because it was too much. Um, Taylor's, I think Taylor's interesting to watch, so I follow her. I still like watch her stories, but I was at this moment. I thought, should I start following Macy and then check out this Sinner Sunday out because she'll post some of the anonymous ones. Like maybe I should. I might start even temporarily.
I just want to know, is this like 200 people using this website and they're all part of this small community?
I think before they started a TV show, I would imagine that I would believe a lot of what was sent in. But now, I mean, I guess I could send in like, yeah, this happened with this person. And I just think the credibility of some of these after post TV show is questionable. One of the
Yeah,
things, is this a side note in terms of the like Bachelor Nation, the group that they're in and they all know each other. Miranda acts like she doesn't know any of these people. And I'm like, you were an OG mom talk. Like, what is happening here? Like, did you really not? And I understand some people can be brought in. So, but she's like, I hope that, she says this later this episode. I think, I hope that this will be an opportunity for me to get to know the women a little bit better. I'm like, do you not know them? That
maybe
was one.
the truth boxes are new.
The truth boxes are new. Well, the other thing I was wondering, and I think we talked about this first season a little bit, like do we really think it is this group of ladies that they are deciding who joins the business with them? Is it like an agent? Is it a group organization that you have to, are we voting? How is this happening? Because I would imagine that they have contracts. I mean, I would think just with how well they're doing, how successful they're doing, even prior to this show, like what is mom talk? It's
Sure,
you
somebody must be representing either
yeah, I
them or the show represents itself. Yeah, I don't know.
was curious. Anyway, sorry, I just went on a tangent. Yeah. Back to Jen goes to speaking to Miranda. Jen
Jen,
goes.
yeah, Jen visits Miranda, having just learned that she's pregnant, goes to Miranda and asks her about her divorce.
Mhm.
And she says, "What was the moment when you knew?" And it's funny because I was somehow expecting her to say something like, "He did this or said this, or I just realized this was never going to change or whatever." But she kind of gave a sort of generic, I was just done.
Well, I actually thought her answer was interesting and I could appreciate that. And I feel like I've heard other people sort of describe something similar where it's like you've had so many problems, all these issues, and then there was just this one argument where you're like, I don't have to be in this anymore. And
You've had it.
the decision is a lot of times when people are going back and forth, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? That is where I think a lot of internal turmoil comes from.
Mhm.
And when you finally land on a decision, there can just be this peace. I know what's happening next. It's like I'm no longer in such a uncertain place. And so
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting when she said that.
Well,
And yeah,
it's Chase, right?
yes, it's
Like
Chase.
Chase is the so like
Yeah,
I don't think I was even thinking that when I was just like, oh, what's going to be the story? But it's like, oh yeah, interacting with Chase until you're done does make sense. Until you're like, I think I'm done interacting with Chase.
yes, yes. I think we are done with Chase. He seems like he'd be a tough person to be in a relationship with.
Right. It
Uh,
wasn't like when he started his podcast, it was, I was done. I
yeah,
just became done with Chase.
yes, yes. And she says, yeah, co-parenting is hard, but she would not change anything. She would still divorce him again. So,
Yeah, it's Chase. So then Zach takes the fellas golfing.
yes,
Oh, I just can't with the men.
I know.
Everything about the conversation is just so boring, but they're just out there whacking those balls. Um, it's funny because I think they're having a good time, and Zach is like, he's like, I gotta do it, right? This is why I brought you here. It's like he
Yes.
brought them for a breakup or a hard conversation.
Yep.
And he just has to tell them, I think it was disrespectful what you did. It's funny because I do think they both get pretty defensive, and I do think it's probably because they don't even respect the fact that that upsets him, which they never talk about. I
Yeah.
really think that if these men were his friend, there would be at least a conversation where they're just sort of like, gosh, it just would not bother me at all. Why do you think it bothers you? Like, I just don't think it should bother you. That's the conversation that they never have with him.
Do you think a lot of men talk like that? I don't think a lot of men do talk like that.
About being jealous?
Well,
I know
no,
if somebody
taking
was saying, I'm so jealous, and I was just like, I'm not that jealous. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just coming from a place of curiosity and asking questions, and I think a lot of men don't do that.
Sure. Yeah, maybe they're not.
This is anecdotal in my own experience. I feel coming from a place of curiosity. Why? Okay, I'm not really seeing why you would have that reaction. I don't understand that myself. I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of men are like, okay, yeah, it's
I don't
rough.
know. Maybe I just felt really entitled to share my opinions with my friends, and, and so I can't understand this.
High EQ.
Maybe, but I mean, yeah, maybe. But the way that I see this, the way they're not being honest is either they know Zach and they know these conversations don't go well with him,
Yeah,
or they don't know Zach and they don't feel like they owe it to him to take him seriously or tell him that. I'm not sure.
yeah,
But I do think they kind of just act like he's being reasonable. He's not being unreasonable here. He's like, you touched my wife without permission. You were all up on her. That wasn't cool. It was disrespectful.
yeah. Can we talk about the content of what was said? So they said, I think Jordan that jumped in that said, yeah, I will stand up for anyone who's assaulting. They used the word assaulting at some point, um, a woman or anyone.
Which is why they were out in the yard fighting
Yeah,
with Chase.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they probably thought that they were
But
standing up
they,
for an assault at
this
the
is
time.
this is not that. See, that's what I was talking about last episode because they aren't saying, but we learned that maybe it wasn't exactly
Right.
that. It's almost like they're still staying with it. And then they also say, lay hands on without consent. And then so what do you think about what Zach said? He's like, well, you also touched my wife without consent in a condescending way. What are your thoughts? I really want to know.
I think it's a good comparison to make
I do.
since I don't think the other one was a big deal either. Like two things that weren't a big deal, I could compare in this way. Because if Demi is upset and they're upset about the way he touched her, then I can compare those two things. I think the thing that is unclear is how Jen would feel about it without worrying about Zach's reaction. Because and I don't know that that should matter as much because when they came out doing the Chippendales dancing, Jen was like this. At least that's how they edited it, that she was doing this about it, like, don't do it. And then they did it. So if Jen felt personally encroached upon and grossed out by the sexuality of it, I think I might feel differently than if I think she was just like, oh, Zach's going to be pissed off about this. I'm not sure I should feel differently about this. If she doesn't want it to happen and it happens, maybe that's all I need to know.
Yeah, this is also when they say Jen knew all of this and the
And
look on
show
her
footage.
face. And she's like, fun! That's
Yeah. Yeah, it
and
looked like she knew something.
but so in fairness to Jen, they keep showing that, which is not a great, not a great look. But how many times have you ever been in a situation where someone's like, "Hey, we're having a party this weekend. Do you want to come?" And you're like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And then you leave and you're like, "I do not want to do that at all." It just comes out. And I don't know if that was similar for her, but I
Could have
did
been.
think about that.
Yeah.
Like, why did I say that? Um,
Well, being over enthusiastic about it after all the drama seems disingenuous also, right? So like, yeah.
but he looks perplexed when they're like, "Well, Jen needs to take accountability." Jordan does say it also is on me for not reaching out. I should have said something to you.
Which I think is nice of him to say because I don't think he means it, and nor,
If
nor does he feel that way, but very kind of him to offer that is how I felt about that sentence.
I agree. I agree. Brett really dishing out giving real dad energy on this. He's like, "You're too young. You don't have to stretch like I do." And then he was trying to summarize everything. He's like, "This is really all about communication." And Jen might be, yeah, I think I mentioned that last episode, but slightly
Yeah.
change what she says based on the reactions.
I do think he brings up in a very soft, roundabout way that I'm not sure Zach heard, but I do think he says, I think Jen has a different way of presenting things, and one of the things she's calculating is how are you going to react? I don't think he was direct enough, but I think that was Brett trying to say your reactions are causing this, which I think is an accurate element to Jen's behavior in all of this.
100%, I think, because if you are like, how can I present this package in a way that will minimize an anger response or the negative impact on me.
Hmm.
So I agree with that. And I also don't think that landed on Zach.
Yeah.
He didn't get it. Um, but
But
yes.
yeah, the guy's saying, I was under the impression you were in the know. I can't tell. I don't care very much whether it's true or not, but there is a lot of like, oh, I thought you knew. Oh, I didn't think you knew. Oh, we were kind of trying to surprise you. We kind of weren't. I feel like people were being, I feel
Shade.
like Jessie was being a little bit sneaky because she wanted there to be a surprise and a shock and she wanted to push Zach. And I think that all of this claims of, oh, we thought everybody knew, I don't know if I buy it. So I feel like I don't know who's lying, but I feel like it's not true. I don't feel like they're being I feel like I just was asking where you were. I think it's the same thing. Oh, we thought you were in the know. It's like I don't buy it. Sorry.
No, yes, no.
You know, Zach, you did not do your due diligence that he was in the
Right.
know. Now, maybe they're true. Maybe they're being accurate. They're like, I thought Jen would have told you, like, this is the women doing their stuff, and I'm not super involved. I get that. So maybe they're being honest, but the overall, like, I thought everybody knew everything. I'm like, somebody's being lying. Somebody's lying.
Yeah. And then next scene, Taylor with Dakota therapy.
More
They
therapy.
didn't show the therapist in this one.
That's
And
how I would show up as a therapist in a show like this.
I was just going to
Off
ask you
camera.
if you had a client say, "I'm on a big reality TV show," or on any, whether it's big or not, "I'm on a reality TV show. Can we film this therapy session?" What would you say?
I don't know. I've been filmed doing a ton of therapy for like training videos and even like supervision. So on the one hand, I'm not uncomfortable with it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably opt to be off camera just for privacy,
Yeah.
which is funny saying, oh, like I'm trying to, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'd be on camera.
I mean, I think it would depend for me on who it is and if I know, because sometimes, I mean, rapport goes both way, like that connection goes both ways. And I think that there are therapists that you've been maybe working with someone for a long time, so you pretty much you can anticipate how the therapy session could go. And sometimes there are some people that it's hard to kind of find a rhythm with, and uh they might not be super open to certain interventions. So I would probably say no to certain people and maybe consider it, but I think I would do what this person does and say, yeah, you can film it. Don't show me though.
Yeah,
Don't
you show your reactions.
yeah.
For me, my main thing would be I wouldn't be sure that I was providing the highest level of care because I might be nervous and I'm
Oh, yeah.
not doing my best I'm not doing my best therapy if I were nervous. So the question I would have is how nervous am I? And I mean I just get stage fright regardless. So it's not even I'm not even sure I could fix it. I'd probably be fine either way.
I get nervous if other people are saying, yeah.
But I thought the therapy was I liked what they showed. This looked like to me pretty impactful therapy, which is Dakota could really hear what she was saying and he could really apologize and he could really express like ways that he failed her, which is what she needs him to hear and like take the accountability for. I thought it was really sweet. And when I watch this, I don't care if they get back together or not, or I don't even know if I have an opinion on if they should get back together or could. It seems like the relationship's not great, but this has still got to be good for them. They're co-parents. Like it was nice.
It was also a little sad too.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could see in that moment there's potential there. They both have their own issues that they want to work on and are working on, and yeah, but I agree. It did seem to be a good therapy session for them.
Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, just a shout out to what therapy can offer is like the the conversations that they're having here is moderated by a therapist who's making sure that everybody gets to be heard and
Mhm.
that they're responding to what other people say. Like sometimes that's all that therapy is for is like a structure and a place for the things to be said in a way that they can best be heard. So I don't know what else they might be doing or working on in there, but that moment there, I thought that's what was happening.
Mhm. Yeah. I have some people that will say, I don't need to go to therapy or I don't want to go to therapy. I mean, what am I going to learn there? Like I know, like
Like
I'm
it's a
talking,
class.
yeah, like non-therapists. And they'll say, I'm not going to learn. I already know. Yeah, go for a walk. Like talk to a friend. What am I going to learn? And I always respond, therapists and psychologists have their own therapists too. And psychologists have a doctorate in it. But
Yeah.
helpful. It's helpful. So,
Yeah. The process is different than what you know about it.
mhm.
I know that I should meditate and sure don't do it. It's so boring.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you real quick. So I took my child to a kid's birthday party last weekend, and there's this mom there. She's a nurse practitioner that works for the same organization that I do. We don't work together, so we don't know each other from a work standpoint. But she knows I'm a psychologist. So I was trying to be funny, making new mom friends, okay? And I was complaining about my lawnmower and how much I hate mowing the lawn, and how I'm pretty sure my neighbors think I'm super dysregulated with my lawnmower because I'm like this stupid lawnmower, which keeps breaking on me like mid row. And uh and so she turns to me and she goes, now, what would your patients say, or what would you say to your patients? And I think I responded, my mom friend told me later that I was much kinder than in my head. what I said. What I actually said was, well, we don't all take our own advice, do we? But the conference said that it was much softer than that. And so that was good. Uh, but I was like, oh, yeah, I know. I would say something like maybe we should hire a high school kid down the road if it's that challenging for you. And so, but I was so annoyed by
That is
that.
very annoying.
Very
Well,
annoyed.
I mean, yeah, people get this perception of like, oh, a therapist should know better, should do better at all times, 100% of the time, and it's yeah, that's a perfect response because it's like, yeah, we all know a lot of things that we could or should be doing, but we have
Do we?
feelings and
Yes. And also, I wasn't actually like fully dysregulated. I
well,
was like,
also, yeah, what would you tell your patient? Yeah, that happens. Like you're
yeah,
just complaining. Like
yeah. Like
find somebody to complain to who's not going to give you a lame response. That's what I would tell my patient.
that's what I learned from that interaction.
Yep, you are not my person.
Yep. Okay. Noted. Next time, all business.
Who was it that said that?
A nurse practitioner mom at a birthday party. I've just learned like those birthday parties where you have to talk to other parents that you don't know and you likely won't become friends with, and everyone realizes that, but you're all stuck together for 2 hours watching your kids behind like a glass while they jump on a trampoline. It's just awful. And I think from now on, I'm going to bring a book and just like
Be
make it
that
known.
mom. Yeah,
I'm not open for dialogue. I'm reading now.
love that. Love that for you.
Okay. Anyway,
On to the sex party.
remove the taboo party.
Remove the taboo. I I think I had both my psychologist reaction and my Mormon reaction to this sex party. Because Macy comes in and it was like, oh, I knew it was going to be a pro sex party, but I didn't expect all this. And I just had to laugh because I feel that too a little bit with like the dildos out and around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what does a pro sex party mean? What does remove the taboo mean other than like this is okay to have around? So I thought it was a funny dichotomy.
I guess so like with the dildos and some of the other, I mean, they used the feather. I don't know. I thought about this before. I was like, should I be looking up the names of these items? I do not know. I'm like, the feather stick, like the
The tickler.
the tickler. I think they said whips, but they weren't. It was like a little
Is it a
stick
crop?
paddle. Oh, crop.
Maybe.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know the words.
Thank you. A crop. And but the dildo, like no one's using the dildo here. Like you're experimenting with the others. Are you selling them? Like what is that? It's just you've never seen one before. Like these women have seen a penis before and probably a dildo, I'm guessing. But anyway, I was like, what is this?
I think whenever somebody brings out sex stuff, they like to show the variety, both to normalize it and also sort of just be like, you might like this and you might like this, and like kind of giving them a sense of okayness about everything. But that is true. I don't know. Maybe, but I would, but maybe they were for sale in that case, right? Like, take one home.
It only cost this much. What did you think about I mean, I thought this party idea was fun. I liked it. I don't think that that's a reasonable way to accomplish the goal that they said they wanted to accomplish,
Oh
which was,
no, it put me much further away from an orgasm. I think,
I've taken steps back now.
yes, yes, it
I,
was a detriment.
I mean, I almost think like a better well, and again, I work in medical settings, so this is not my area, but I would sort of think that a better way to explore that would be talking about touching yourself. Like that's like
Hmm.
pleasuring yourself, figuring out what feels good for your to you, by you, from you. And then the feather and the, I don't know.
Your face.
That was-
So, so I have to tell you a story.
Yes, please.
So I went to a conference in Rio de Janeiro once, And and the session that I went to was called something like Encountering Dionysus and something other, some Greek gods. Um, and so I thought it was going to be a pro-sexual psychology of sex talk about eroticism, in therapy and psychology, something like that. But instead, it was a little more like this party. So I'm I'm in Brazil, and of course, at this point, I'm thinking this would never happen in the US, which isn't to say it shouldn't, of course, but that was on my mind.
Yeah.
And so then they had us pair up with people, take off our shirts, and and run feathers across the
Feather the
body of the other psychologist who went to this
really?
session with us. And that was part of it. And I was just like, when in Rome, but I I was not expecting that when I signed up for that session.
That is so interesting.
Yes.
And
And also
what a story.
very distant from an orgasm, I have to
We're
say.
far, far removed, far, far
Yes.
away.
Which, in an intellectual environment, I suppose is what you want. So, to make an intellectual exercise of having a stranger rub feathers around my nipples was something. You know, it was closer to eroticism than I was used to in
Sure.
those sessions.
That is so funny. That is very funny.
But
Right.
I was feeling a lot of this like rub each other with feathers, and I'm like, that's not going to do it. I also found it interesting, not a huge topic of discussion, but very clearly some of the women were feeling uncomfortable about this because it was with women. And I thought that was kind of funny. They're like, oh, I'm rubbing a feather, or a woman is rubbing a feather on me, and I'm straight. And I got to talk about how straight I am.
I have to let everyone know I've not been with a woman. I'm not interested.
And I love that Taylor was like, I'm super straight too. I've made out with a lot of women, which I think is true. I think both of those statements are true, but it just showed a really different what the reason that Taylor is making out with women is not about gay stuff. It's she's still a straight woman for whatever reason she's doing it. And these other straight women were like, no, thank you.
Not me. Yeah.
Interesting.
I also thought it was a little okay. So, yes, I could appreciate that maybe feeling cringy or awkward. But if I were with a group of my friends, we
And
were
this
into
was the activity.
that, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is weird. You're touching me with a feather. I'd be like, I mean, you're not doing it for me, but okay, like whatever. Like it feels soft. It's a feather. Like, I
Yes. Yeah, right.
I don't think I'd be weirded out by it, especially given how much they talk about sex. And it seems like how much detail they put into it with their friends. And I'm like, that's what's making you uncomfortable? I don't know. It just and maybe it was something about the sex coach. I think that's what she calls herself. But I was like, this is what this is really okay. Okay.
All right, so I should have looked this up. I was curious because I don't want to say anything disparaging about a legitimate profession. So I didn't look it up.
Oh, you
But
did.
first, but a coach is a coach, so there's no accrediting body. So to be a certified some kind of coach means that some group got together and they'll print you a certificate if you do it their way. So that the value of that depends on the thing itself. I have no idea. There are no coaching certifications that have a reputation that I'm familiar with. So when I heard all of her credentials, I was just like, I know nothing about this person still. Like she's
There,
certified, board certified sexologist,
that's what she said.
certified sex coach, board certified sexologist. A sexologist is not a profession that's recognized legally. There's no licensing board to be a sexologist. So, like a board certified just means a private group has certified. And again, she clearly can throw a party, so I'm not saying anything negative about her credentials, but I have no idea what this person knows or who they are or what they can do.
She probably gets paid a lot though.
She probably does. She's got her
Probably
duffel bag of
more than I
dildos
do. Yeah.
and and all the money that she can
Yeah.
that she can put in a stripper's G-string. So good for her.
Layla's face when they were going around like what excites you? What turns you
Hmm.
on? She's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, what feels good for you? And she looked like deer in a headlight. Like, and she said later, that was eye-opening that I couldn't answer that question.
Yeah.
It seemed to be a light bulb
I
moment for
know. She was like, I like to see that my partner's having a good time. And I'm like, well, that's nice. That's
her.
not bad. That's
Not bad.
good.
Yeah.
And that's legitimate. But yeah, when sort of pressed, but also what do you like sensation wise? And she arrived at she likes it rough, I think is where she
Okay.
landed.
Hard and rough.
Hard and rough. So Layla,
From the crop.
I don't think that people's sexual proclivities can be easily distilled down into sort of like psychoanalysis, but I do think there's a connection there between what people like sexually and something about their own lives. So I think that's interesting. And this doesn't tell me anything, right? Not like I don't hear that she likes the hard and rough crop and think that I know something about her. But maybe a very pronounced stimulus is kind of breaking through whatever walls she's put up, right? Like that could be a thing. Like who knows?
I think that so the whole romantasy genre, which I'm now into, and I never used to be into a romantasy girly. I was always a psychological thriller, no surprise, until this current stage of my life. And so I find it to be really interesting that, well, one, I think if straight man wants to learn how to pleasure a woman, do not watch porn, just read a romantasy book. It
Mm-hmm.
will teach you more about what women want, that they're often written by women. And and so I'm like, Layla should just get a romantasy book and read,
Yeah.
learn. But I do kind of think that like a lot of the characters, the main male characters are very like take charge. They, like I'm in control. I know what you want, and boy, can they give it to that lady. And so, but I kind of think that there is like a group of straight women that exist that they are like, I do everything for, and I don't want to make another decision. So you know what it feels to me?
Yeah.
Like macho masculine male that also can listen and is very sensitive, but then knows exactly what I want in the bedroom and takes control, and I don't have to do anything. No more decisions will be made in the bedroom because they are in charge. And I do think so that made me think of what you were describing, like in what some people are interested in. It can tell you maybe something, but
Yeah. That's super interesting. That reminds me of Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, which is the sole libertarian slash conservative like novel or whatever. But that was her whole thing. Is her main character was Dagny, who was this powerful CEO, and then she wrote all these sex scenes where she was completely submissive in the bedroom. That's it. But that connection was not described by Ayn Rand, so that's interesting.
that's my own connection I've made. Not research based at all. So anyway.
A couple of things about the party that kind of cracked me up was Jen shows up. Okay, quick Mormon moment though. I don't want to be this way, but I'm still clocking people's underwear. This is a Mormon superpower. And so Jen earlier was wearing sleeveless sweater when talking to, I think, Miranda. I think it was during that scene. And I don't remember why I cared or noticed, but I was like, oh, she's not wearing her garments. They were talking about how Zach had taken a step away from church after Chippendales, or maybe she had too. And I was like, she's not wearing her garments because this is something that I could see. So, cut forward to the sex party. She walks in and she goes, "I was thinking about coming in my garmies." And the garment queen from season one once again reappears and brings up her garments and talks about her garments. I thought it was funny.
I think that, yeah, I thought that was funny too. Hmm.
Yeah, I thought about wearing my garmies, which I think actually would have been hilarious. I also thought that, speaking of unfunny, when they brought the butt cake and we're
Yeah.
talking about how like Whitney has the best butt,
No,
or the
Macy.
or yeah, Macy has the best butt or the biggest butt, or Michaela was like, I didn't have enough cake for
Well,
Macy's butt. And then they're like, what does it taste like? And I just had to cringe because somebody's like, tastes like butthole.
I would
And
way to scare everyone away from a slice of cake.
you know, and even in that perfect Utah accent where the T isn't pronounced butthole, I was just like, ugh.
I also did that. I was like, hmm. Oh,
um,
Macy does say something. I wanted your opinion on this. Mormons are a little bit freaky in marriage. I thought that was
I wrote that down too. I have no idea.
do people
I
like I guess I feel like outside of a religious space, a lot of people aren't in marriages aren't necessarily talking about their sexual activities a ton. I mean, I
Yeah, not in my experience. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I don't know. I think it goes back to when they were talking about how like you're supposed to go from like no sex, no sex, no sex to porn star.
yes.
That maybe there is something about the waiting until marriage and now the green light for everything that might translate into being freaky. But it's also very possible that Macy is calling like anything freaky. Macy could be Macy could be like, we have a handcuff on our headboard. We get freaky. Like I don't know what she's it could be very mild and she's still calling it that.
That's an excellent point. Yes.
I did think it was funny in one moment when Miranda was saying like, "Oh, Jen came and talked to me before Jen arrived. She came and talked
Yeah.
to me and she was asking me about my divorce." And even though I kind of agree with this, Demi was a little transparent. She was like, almost like, should she do it even? Almost like that. Like she jumped on that so fast.
Yes. Mhm.
Good work, detective. But
Yes. You are correct.
yeah, I did. So I don't know if we should get way into this, but just since we're commenting, what arouses you? The answers that came out were a scenario, so like fantasy,
Yeah.
dirty talk,
Mhm.
which is really common, um, a massage or smell, and so they said, okay, so sensual. I have to say, the looks that Michaela was making during a lot of this, I don't think she likes any of it. She was very,
She looked very
yeah,
uncomfortable.
and that could be many things, including her own trauma response, right? She could
Yeah.
just be like, I don't like any of this, but yeah, she was really struggling with a lot of these questions. But I did also like that she said, we are our first sexual partners, which might not be true for everyone, but I think that it's important to like think about if you're trying to understand your body, understand what you like, understand what arouses you, what you want with a partner. And so I thought that was a cool statement that she said that like understanding your own body, you're your first sexual partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like the most important.
Or the most important. For sure the most important.
Yeah.
The most longevity. I,
Yes.
I wrote
You only have yourself.
yes, the one thing you can
For
count on.
certain.
I wrote sensation play, blindfolds, feathers. They start smacking each other, and Michaela hates it.
She did not like it, which was why I made that comment. I find it odd that they were, well, Michaela in particular, all very uncomfortable when they talk about it all so much. But
Now they did bring up that Demi said something. So Demi was one of the ones that was like, "I'm so straight, it's scary," and Taylor was like, "Me too." And she's like, "Yeah, but you made out with women." And Taylor kind of says, like Demi, when she feels insecure, she kind of does this. And I thought that was interesting because like that is a jab. I think that's one of those ways when people maybe don't even know how judgmental they're being or that it's transparent or whatever. But I personally felt a little annoyed at people having to assert their heterosexuality so strenuously, and then when somebody like Taylor is like, I'm straight too, like accusing them as if they have to disprove, as if you have to like clarify for somebody else what their sexuality is because of something else. I found that they didn't
Yeah.
explore it much, but points away from Demi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I agree completely.
I thought Jen handled the two girls, Jessie and Demi, wanted to talk to Jen because they just can't leave her alone. And
Mm.
so they were like, "How are you and Zach doing?" Which seems like nice, but is like if I had just had the whole conversation that I had had with them in the fight and we had not made up, I'd be like, "Don't talk to me about this right now." And
Yeah.
that is the one thing I want to say is they talked about how Jen brought her marriage problems into the group and now the group responding to them like she made her own bed. Can you withdraw consent? Like what if you are talking with people and relying on them and then the way that they react starts to not feel helpful, starts to feel toxic, starts to feel judgmental? Like can Jen just be like, "Now I don't want you involved anymore."
Yeah.
And they're acting so upset, like, "You did this, you brought it up." And it's like, "What? You don't like how I helped by taking you to multiple Chippendales situations and dressing like you for Halloween? Like, you don't want my help?"
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like it's fair for Jen to be like, "You are not my people to talk about this with anymore,
It's not
even
a
though we
safe
did
space.
before." Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a safe space before. It no longer feels like a safe space. And if you feel like she's feeling like she has to defend her actions, yeah, and the only thing that would satisfy some of these ladies is if she said, I kicked him out, we're getting divorced. And that might not be what she wants to do, or she's trying to figure it out. And I think giving your friends space to figure it out and just, I'm here to support you, like
Yeah. Instead of,
that's
"You've been lying a lot. Now tell us more."
tell us more.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I thought the way Jen said that was pretty good, which is like, "We're still working through things and I kind of want to do it on my own for now."
I thought that was a really great way,
Fair.
yes, to word that. Most definitely. Macy has her dinner. She wants to announce her book deal. I thought it was
Mhm.
very sweet, the story about her dad, and she brings out her notebook, and I thought that was sweet. And
I mean, even knowing that she feels like she has this unconventional story with a lot of trauma in it that she wants to talk about, and she's a public figure. I mean, I'm curious about what it is. I don't know what the contents are, but yeah, that was interesting. I like that Michaela was there helping her. This is another time Michaela was funny, helping her with the seating chart where she's like, "This is a disaster, but I heard this little, they can't sit by who and who, whatever, and this is going to happen." But then I heard them say, "Well, Taylor gets along with everyone." And I was just like, "Yeah, Taylor. Taylor gets along with everyone."
which is probably why she's been the leader, right? Like considered the leader because
Yeah.
she's pretty neutral. Um,
And honest. She's so genuine. That's what I'm putting my money on. I think Taylor's so genuine, and that's why people trust her.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, just the authenticity.
Yeah, they might not be able to trust her like judgment, but they trust her her heart, her authenticity.
Yes. Her convictions, yes.
Yeah.
Um, they, yeah, so they said they make some comment that when Macy announced that Demi didn't look super supportive. I didn't clock that, and I also didn't bother to rewind to watch Demi's face. But
I feel like they've cut over to her a few times looking annoyed, whether that was in real time reaction to what she was saying. It matched that she seemed jealous, but I was thinking very much like, "Oh, how is this being manufactured or why?" Because nothing's happening. She didn't say anything.
yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
Well, and then she says she's going to host an event, a pickleball tournament, and they're all invited. She
The girl,
looked a little something in that moment too.
mhm,
Whatever, I'd be jealous. I'd be
mhm.
like, "Oh, it's about you and I'm going along. I wish it was about me. That would make me more famous, right?" Like I'm sure there's moments of good for you. I'm only
Yeah,
10% jealous.
you know who doesn't have that? Taylor. Taylor was like, I am so excited for Macy because Taylor is the leader. She makes probably the most.
That's true. Yeah, Taylor can champion everyone because she's rich.
But she's also, I think, a good friend. I think
She
Taylor's.
is. Well, she does bring them in and she says, "You can switch and sit somewhere else if you want." And they do still switch it up. I thought that was hilarious. They still cared, but
Yes. And then I wrote down these ladies love a truth box. So they didn't do the truth box, but they did something where you write something down anonymously and then you read it. And I wrote down someone loves having sex in a hot tub. And then I thought it was funny. The girls were like, hashtag UTI, like in unison, like a group of these ladies were like appalled. No. Uh
I mean,
I
I actually felt like somebody needed to shout out a warning. Like I was like, "Whose hot tub so I can never go in your hot tub?" Like there were I I had a reaction to that too.
yeah,
Like maybe don't do it. Whatever they however they chose to say that. They chose UTI, great. Don't do that.
do
Is
that.
how I felt.
Yes. Yeah. The I had sex in a parking lot of five different high schools. That felt creepy to me, but I also was like, were you in high
Right,
school? Like,
why the high schools?
why? What is it about? I feel like I need more details. That's a very weird detail, but
So this
um,
was a truth box, but it was supposed to be a confession box, which is different than I mean, that was how Macy was trying to like present it, right? This is not the truth box, it's confessions.
yes.
And yet, obviously, it's that's the same thing as a truth box.
They were all pretty much sexual in nature, except I think Jen is fake. Dun dun dun.
Oh, and that's the cliffhanger, right? Like it just ends with Jen is fake, she's immediately in tears, and then we're on to the next episode.
I feel bad for Jen. I mean, newly pregnant, those hormones are all over the place. She's having marital issues, and then now I think Jen is fake. It's a lot. That's just a lot to take on, you
No,
know.
it's true. And I just feel like I mean, yeah, you're feeling feelings about Jen too, but like her crime here is she is not being honest, and it's small and frustrating, but I'm like none of the lies are huge. They're all kind of just on theme. Like it's not like Zach was being a good guy. You know what I mean? So they're really raking her over the coals for navigating the distress of her relationship poorly.
Yes.
But they
Uh,
all saw the texts. Like they see what she's trying to navigate. So I'm shocked that they're just like, Faker, you're fake.
Faker.
And I want to know who wrote it. And I might judge him a little bit.
I've told you that's a huge trope in reality TV, especially the Real Housewives. Be a real person, be authentic. You're not
Hmm.
being real. And that this is the space we're entering now, and then there's always someone who their sole purpose on the show is to sniff out the liars. That is how they view it. So it feels like that's happening here.
Well, I can see that Jen is probably the least like open and therefore might seem the fakest among them. But we'll see. We'll see what comes in episode 5 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives next time on Afternoon Tea with Shandy.
All right. Until next time, good seeing you.
Good to see you.